The Golden State Warriors just defeated the Houston Rockets 95-85 in game one of their first round matchup. They were able to steal the home court by winning this game in Houston. I would say this game was the best game I saw all day out of the four other games. Well, yeah, out of all the four games today, in the sense that it was the most competitive game where both teams are playing very hard, just giving it all on both ends, diving for loose balls, hustling on every possession. It was a great matchup. When you measure just the intensity in this game, it felt like a 90s, early 2000s type of playoff game, and that's always fun to watch. It was a game where both teams went through stretches trying to score. They couldn't get an easy bucket, but I would say a few things stood out to me in this game. Was one was like Houston's strategy early in the game of guarding Stephen Curry. At first, it seemed like a great strategy in which they were running him off the 3 point line and limiting his 3 point attempts. He didn't shoot well from three to begin the game. He was shooting poorly, and it was working. But the problem was when they ran him off the line, they were allowing him to get easy layups. And I think that's very dangerous in the sense that when a shooter is struggling and they can't hit their jump shot, I can say this from personal experience that once you start making a few layups, then you get into a comfort zone and your confidence comes back and you start hitting threes and whatnot. Just it just comes to you. You see the ball going a few times. It's a psychological thing. And I think that happened with Stephen Curry because he must have gotten like, I don't know, 5 or 6 layups simply by the Rockets intentionally running him off the 3 point line. And in the second half, it just ballooned his confidence where his 3 point shot started falling. And then he just had a typical Stephen Curry game where he ended up with 31 points on 12 of 19 shooting, 5 of 9 from three. And if you didn't watch this game, you would think that he played great from start to finish, but that wasn't the case. In the first half, he was terrible. Then in the second half, everything started going in for him simply because of that dumb strategy the Rockets employed in the first half by running him off the 3 point line. I think that's a bad strategy that they should stay away from, that it's not going to help in this series. That was one of the things that stood out to me. I would say the second thing that stood out to me in this game about the Rockets was that this team really struggles to get buckets. They struggle. They go through stretches where they just can't score. They can't even buy a bucket. The only guy that was able to get easy buckets in this game was Shagun, as they would say. That's his name, Shagun. He was like the only guy that was able to easily get buckets whenever the Rockets needed someone to score. He stepped up in this game. He shot 11 of 18 from the field, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals. One of the few bright spots in this game for the Rockets that he was not intimidated by Draymond. He got into a Draymond, but he still got his. He got quite a few post-ups on Draymond successfully. So if you're a Rockets fan, that's encouraging. But what I found discouraging was nobody outside of Shagun could get buckets easily. It was a struggle. These guys were breaking shots left and right. They couldn't buy a basket. It was a sad sight to see. Like I remember just seeing stretches for like 5 to 7 minutes where no one outside of Shagun could score on the Rockets. And you could say part of it was due to the Warriors' great defense, but on the other hand, these guys were missing open shots on some of these attempts that they just couldn't hit. They would drive into the paint, they couldn't finish. They were breaking mid-range shots. It was just ugly to see. I would say that Amen Thompson kid, that he has a lot of potential. He's great potential, but this guy has no jump shot. Granted, he hit a few in this game, but it was ugly to watch. And he definitely plays reckless on the offensive end when he drives into the paint because he's so super athletic. I think he feels he could always get an easy layup or a dunk without resistance, that he doesn't really have to think about it. But he made some boneheaded drives to the hole. There was just one play, I think in the fourth quarter, where he drove to the hole and he shot the ball underneath the rim, and he got blocked by the rim underneath. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll see what I'm saying. But that to me just showed, again, his youth and just him not thinking it through. So it was just silly things like that that really annoyed me when I watched the Rockets in this game against the Warriors. I would say that all the Warriors' top guys, except for Şengün, just shot terribly in this game. They were poor. Fred VanVleet, 4 of 19. Jalen Green, 3 of 15. I know Green signed a big contract with the Rockets recently, but he definitely wasn't earning his money in this game tonight. That it's not going to cut it. These guys had to play better. They had to play a lot better for the Rockets to win this game. The Rockets at one point in time did get down by 21 in the third quarter. And I give them credit that they did fight hard to get back in this game, and they nearly won this game. I think one of the other positives for the Rockets in this game was that they're a much better rebounding team than the Warriors. They got like 22 offensive rebounds, and it was their ability to get all these offensive rebounds that allowed them to get back in this game and gave them a chance in the fourth quarter to possibly win this game. One stretch in the fourth quarter that really pissed me off was with a little bit less than 6 minutes left, around the 5:59 mark in the game. I think they had cut the lead down to 4 points, and there was a sequence I felt that really won the Warriors the game. And thanks to these stupid refs for not making the right calls, it helped them. So what happened was that there was a play where Podziemski, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Podziemski drives to the hole, and he's at the top of the key of the free throw line, and he travels, and they don't call it. Passes it to Moody for a jump shot as a shot clock is expiring, and Moody hits the 2-point shot. That puts the Rockets, the Warriors, back up by 5, I believe, in that sequence. Let me just see if I'm right about that. Yeah, that put them up by. I'm just trying to look at it if I can find that. Yeah, it actually put them up by 6. So that's 6 points, 6-point lead right there. And then the Rockets score, and it's 4-point lead. Then there's another play, just a possession later, in which the Warriors lose the ball out of bounds. And it's very obvious, but the Rockets can't challenge it because they've already wasted a challenge. And because of that gives a refs gave to the Warriors to give them extra possession. Steph Curry gets a 3-point shot from 34 feet out on an expiring shot clock. So that's an additional 3 points. It stretches the lead to 7 with 5 minutes and 11 seconds left. But that sequence within a minute of the refs not making the right calls spotted the Warriors 5 additional points that they didn't deserve. And that's huge in a game where both teams are going through stretches without getting buckets, at least easy buckets. That to me pissed me off. Granted, you could say that the Rockets dug themselves in a huge hole, but when the refs screw up like that, especially in a close game, it makes a huge difference. So fuck these refs. And yes, I wanted to see the Warriors lose this game, but credit to them. They did enough for them to win this game. Going forward, the Rockets need other guys to step up besides Şengün, and they just need to do a better defensive strategy in how they decide to match up with Curry and Butler. They had to come up with a better strategy than just running Curry off the 3-point line, because he'll get hot again once you start giving him 5 or 6 layups. But that's all I had to say.